If he seems mad, it's because he lost his shirt betting on curling. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice. We're going to mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend that about you, right, Gina Grant?
That's right.
And Bryan.
Stinking his tank.
Love that guy.
You know, Natalie was on the same season of Dancing with the Stars as he was.
Oh,
We're gonna have
really?
on, yeah.
I wonder if she went. Well, he went 9th.
I think he finished 9th.
He was the first eliminated, didn't he say?
He claimed that. I know you're thinking about a typo.
He was the 9th eliminated, and Natalie was 5th or 6th.
Didn't he allude to yesterday to the interview being eliminated first?
That's what he said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think so because Adam was in that skit.
Isn't finishing 9th mean you almost made it to the top 3? Is that I had it? I didn't say anything. It said finished 9th. I think on my bio, and I was like, does that mean
eliminated 9th?
Oh,
did it say eliminated 9th?
It did. I'm almost positive. But
he said he did. He said he was the first.
How many stars did they have? That's the. Anyway, it's a weird phraseology because eliminated 9th, I couldn't figure out whether that means there's only 10 or 12 people, and that means you made it far.
Pretty damn far.
Finish 9th and eliminated 9th mean very different things.
Yeah, the opposite.
Yeah,
we told you eliminated 9th yesterday.
Yeah, right, but
he was just being humble.
Take the time to go out of 12 or out of 11 or something. I wasn't sure if
still unclear.
If he could have got to the finals or the championship round, or if there's
Final
10
3 or whatever.
I hope putting too fine a point on this, but if there's 10 celebrities and you were eliminated 9th, that means you went right to the end, right?
That's what I would assume.
Yeah, so he was 7th place, if that makes it easier.
No, but you can tell us how many there were. I don't know.
Eliminated in the third round or whatever.
How many people were there? He was eliminated in the 9th week.
16.
Oh, really? That many? All right. So he went in the 9th week, and they went 15 weeks or whatever it is.
Okay.
All right.
Respectable.
Not too shabby.
It all adds up.
He's being hard on himself. All right. Natalie Coughlin is going to join us.
She's such a badass.
Olympic swimmer, and she's got some thoughts on food and the Olympic Village and things like that.
Well, she heard us talk about it, and she sent a long DM. She's like, you want to hear about these food stories, and I'll tell you how they come up with this food.
She was at least in 3 Olympics, right?
Yeah. And she's a big, she has her own winery. Like, she's badass.
12-time Olympic medalist swimmer. So
that's all in the bio, too.
Yeah. It's all in the bio. It says eliminated 9th in the Beijing.
Hurtful.
So everyone's been talking about the whole Saget thing and the bruising on the back of the head and the internal bleeding within the skull and so on and so forth. And I'm a very naive person. I was like, and I heard others saying, so what happened? He was found in his bed, but the autopsy came out. Well, what happened? Well, he laid back and he hit his head on the headboard. And then he went to sleep and he didn't wake up, or he was looking for something under a desk and bonked his head or whatever. And so then I just got done talking to Dr. Drew for a while. He was just in here and he said, oh, no, internal bleeding in the skull, that's a big impact. And I said, so I was working under this sort of notion that he bonked himself like you would bonk yourself when you were getting something out of the car and you popped up and you smacked your head on the head. Well, the implication, I see, we may have done that because they just said internal bleeding in the skull and a big bruise on the back of his head. But Drew said, oh, no, you get that when you pass out and whack your head.
Like when Larry Miller fell, like slipped and fell at the bar.
Or passed out and whacked your head. You don't get you don't get internal bleeding in your skull from leaning back on the headboard.
Or hitting a cabinet.
We'd all be dead.
Yeah.
So he had an event where he passed out, fell down, whacked his head, then probably got up completely out of it and went, I'm going to go lay down, and was bleeding internally.
I don't like this as the cause of death. That's not really fair. He hit his head because he passed out. Why did he pass out?
Well, then Drew said, did you see what happened to comedian Heather McDonald?
Right, yes.
And I was like, I'd heard about it, but what happened? Well, she had an event that
On stage.
we will look at. It's kind of tough to watch. She's okay. Drew's been talking to her. She's hospitalized, I believe.
She didn't even take an
out yet.
ambulance. Her sister drove her. She said she's fine now.
So she's up on stage at the Tempe Improv. It's about 41 seconds.
Don't mean to brag. I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period. What? Yes! Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
Wobble, wobble, and just smacks. Right?
Smack.
People don't really know if it's a joke.
Yeah,
Well, no one. That's the problem with
Yeah.
anything on stage, but not known for pratfalls.
Although it's a great button on Jesus Loves Me the Most.
She was out before she hit the ground, and Saget probably had the same event happen to him to cause the internal bleeding. You don't get that from bumping your head. You get it from what we just saw. You have to really
Free
smack yourself down onto the ground.
I would blame the club, but she's in Arizona. He was in Florida. I'm thinking, what is going on at that club?
Well,
Oh.
they both were boosted. They got the booster a couple of weeks earlier, and people are thinking,
Yeah, but so have a million billion other of us, and we don't pass out.
I know, but it still doesn't mean in these people it didn't cause it.
Like the wooziness.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it did
a
cause
blood pressure
it.
drop or whatever.
They're trying to figure out, like Drew's like, get boosted, but let's not ignore boosting as it pertained to this. Maybe
Right.
it had an effect. I
Right.
don't know. So
Stay off stage for a couple of weeks.
yeah, if you're feeling lightheaded, sit down. Now, if she told Drew, if I was in my room, I would have sat down.
Right.
I started to feel it, I would have
Right.
sat down. But you're on stage. You're sort of obliged.
And
you know?
nobody witnessed him falling, hurting himself. This had to have happened privately.
It had to have happened that he was, it seems, it didn't, nothing had to have happened. It seems like he was in his room.
Right.
He passed out, whacked his head, then got up and went, I got to lay down, and was bleeding.
I don't mean to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. We're not even remotely considering a possibility that somebody attacked him or anything like that.
Well, you are, because you watch Nancy Grace all day.
That's true, and you got it, Adam. The way you ignore facts is really mind-boggling to me.
So, no, I mean, look, here's the takeaway. While we're all trying to figure out, geez, how does one bonk their head and whatever, Drew is saying you pass out and you bonk your head.
Right.
That's kind of the part of this story that we're missing. But who knows?
Horrible.
Happened to Dawson.
Yeah, when I lost my sense of smell, smacked my head on the concrete pavement, fell off my skateboard.
Oh, yeah.
In San Diego.
This is
Everyone that was at my house said I seemed like a totally different person walking back in, but I went to sleep, woke up the next day, did a radio show from my knees and throwing up all day, and I thought, this is a horrible hangover. And they finally said, dude, we're taking you to the hospital. The doctor in the ER said that my brain was bleeding in 3 places.
Jesus.
Wow.
And had I waited 30 more minutes to go to the doctor, I probably would have been dead.
When was this?
A decade ago, 15
Okay,
years
when you
ago.
said you lost your sense of smell, I didn't know if that was COVID
It
related.
came back
or-
now, 15, 18 years ago.
Jesus.
I'm picturing what happened to Ignatowski on Taxi.
Taxi, yeah.
He was like wearing a sweater vest going, indubitably. And they took one hit off a joint. And was like,
became a burnout.
all right.
True story. Lynch used to talk about how wonderful it was to share an office with Dawson because he could fart all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Dawson never complained.
Wait, do you not have a sense of smell?
No, it's back, but I can't. There's things that I can smell better than others. I can smell chocolate and oranges. But for a few years, I could not smell Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's too
Oh,
bad.
man.
Or the ocean, and it was terrible. You lose your will
Could
to
you smell the smile on a child's face?
The laugh in a heart.
That was the last.
We
that
got
was
to
the
get
last to
Dawson
leave.
some liqueur chocolates.
Yeah.
A little like orange Grand
right.
Marnier Cointreau.
All right, so Natalie's up, or we're calling her right now. I think the timer's screwed up, Dawson, if that's something you're in charge with. I should say. Natalie is, let's see, yeah, she's got the vineyard. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Gadarian. I've been there. It's excellent.
Oh, in Napa Valley.
I love their wine. The white and the rosé specifically, if you guys are out there looking for summer wines.
And nothing, she raises her own chickens. She's just a Renaissance woman through and through.
She competed in Athens in 2004, Beijing in 2008, and London in 2012. First American female athlete to win 6 medals in 1 Olympics. That was Beijing. Went to UC Berkeley, swam in the NCAA competition, and it's quite accomplished. It also just shows you that swimmers aren't swimmers. They're people who apply themselves and really have a really strong work ethic and aren't scared of hard work, and they like competition. And then at some point they leave the pool and they go to the vineyard and they just apply
Start that from scratch.
every single one of those traits there. Natalie's up. Natalie?
Hi.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks for listening and thanks for calling in.
Of course. Been a fan since you guys started. So I love you guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad that you offered, and then I don't know many people that would have more expertise on Olympic food than you, seeing as how you've been to so many of them. We were talking about the China Olympics and the slop and the quarantine and the mystery meat. What was your experience in your 3 Olympics?
Yeah. So I went to 3 Olympics. One of them was Beijing in 2008, and there were so many issues with the food. You have to worry about foodborne illness. So anytime vegetables are watered with bad water or washed with bad water, you could get sick. Or if the meat has too many hormones in it, you can test positive for a banned substance. So I was telling Gina the other day that I ate pizza for the 8 days that I competed in Beijing because I was so afraid to either get sick or test positive.
Please tell them about the lasagna.
Oh, yes. So Bryan said or asked the other day, what do foreigners think of American food? And a couple times I was in Japan for world championships, and the Japanese would make us what they called American food. And we had a spread of corn dogs and lasagna with refried beans.
Oh, my.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
It's also, there's a couple things.
They think we're all white trash.
One is...
and a gun on the side.
You want to talk about courageous. Gina, could you imagine carb loading on pizza for days on end and then going out in front of the world in your Speedo singlet and standing up on it?
I'd give any amount of money not to do that.
Yeah. But I will say this, and I always find it interesting that they're all world-class athletes, or they would not be there. They're people that is ostensibly trained, and then the diet has been such a huge part of the training for the 4 years or 8 years or 12 years or whatever you put into it up to whatever Olympics we're at. Seems weird not to have a menu pushed forward by your side of the Olympic going, look, we got our power lifters and they need a lot of buffalo meat.
Right.
And then we got our swimmers over here. They like to get some carbs in them. Here's
your rider.
Yeah, we'll send you this in advance. This is what we're looking for. How come there's not a greater, instead of you get what we got a Golden Corral, just go ahead. This is what we got.
Shouldn't that be backed out of the cost of doing the Olympics?
Yeah, or just send your own food and a chef. It's worth it if you got 150 Olympians or whatever it is.
Natalie?
Well, the USOPC does do that. They do send a ton of food, and logistically, it's a nightmare. There's 10,000 athletes that come through the Olympic Village, so you have to give them a little bit of credit. But the Olympic Committee sends so much food, and we pack a lot of our own food, just because you're at the mercy of essentially a giant cafeteria. So even if it is the best chefs in the world, it could only be so good when you're pushing out 10,000, thousands and thousands of meals a day. But yeah, I hear you. I would have to pack so much food. It's just, at that point, it's just getting calories in, because at that point, it's not really about nutrition; it's about survival.
How much training goes on for you in swimming once you're at the event? Like once you're at the Olympics, on the days off, practice days, or training? You know, like boxers will kind of train right up to the fight, and then like the last, I don't know, 2-3 days, they just go, I'm resting my body now. How'd that work for you?
Yeah. So for swimmers, we take our taper seriously. So we would, pay attention to how far we would have to walk. And some of the sprinters would bitch and moan if there was, so many stairs before their race. And they would really map it out, like resting their legs. But yeah, the last few weeks for a sprinter, you're doing minimal. But minimal for us is still, 2,000, 3,000 meters, maybe 5,000 meters a day. So that's still a couple miles in the pool, but very easy. And then sprint and technique and power work. Just, taking the cobwebs off, really.
I don't want to get you canceled, but there is a big hubbub about the collegiate swimmer, maybe from University of Pennsylvania or Yale. I'm trying to think of where.
UPenn.
Yeah. Who's swimming, who transitioned, but not sure if she transitioned because there was also stories about junk in the locker room. I don't know if anyone's... Chris, it's out there somewhere. There's somebody anonymously on the team said she would show her male genitalia. I didn't know she had male genitalia.
When you say junk, you mean like fast food wrappers?
Yeah.
That's right.
So they're probably saying that she's hormonally transferred?
I guess. She's whooping up on the competition, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so from what I know about this situation, she transitioned metabolically, so she's been on like hormone suppression therapy, from what I know, for a couple years. But she transitioned after, like she was 20 years old when she transitioned. So it's a complicated, very complicated story. But yeah, she's in the Ivy League and breaking a bunch of Ivy League records, and it's a big question mark whether she will be able to compete for conference and for the NC2A. And I think the NC2A is still trying to figure out the rules around that.
When is that? That's coming up, obviously. We're going to get a ruling in the next month. So someone is going to have to make a ruling on this.
That will then set precedent.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
yeah, it's so tricky, but just for reference, the average, like the top female swimmer in 2021, the top female swimmer at every single event, on average on the male side, would be about 530th in short course swimming, and in long course swimming about 325th on average. So there is a big discrepancy when it comes to competitive fairness and equity. So this is it's a huge powder keg of an issue that everyone is trying to figure out in the best way that we can.
Yeah, I think it was Serena Williams who may have said several years ago that she wouldn't beat any of the men in the top 100 or some version of that. So, and that's in tennis, obviously, but there's a difference. And
you wouldn't beat us in caring.
That's true. Still has the male genitalia, still attracted to women. So now we have to kind of figure out the locker room.
Interesting.
Because where Gina is the most open-minded and progressive of us all, but attracted to the female form in the locker room and with the genitalia.
But with the NFL, it's not like they don't let gay football players in the same locker room.
That is true. But
they don't?
We do.
It's not like...
well, so I misunderstood.
He was eliminated 9th, Bryan.
Sure.
We do have a slightly different societal approach to women in a space in various stages of undress and dudes.
That's true.
And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's definitely a societal thing.
Female reporters in the locker room was a big issue 15, 20 years, whatever it was.
Zeke Moad.
Was that who was against it?
Zeke Moad was a tight end for the New York Giants, who I think famously just kind of dropped his towel.
Oh, I see.
And, it's like, hey, we're going to have ladies in here. I'm going to business as usual.
That's right.
And I think Zeke, his name is Zeke Moad, and he was a large man of color, played tight end. So I'm guessing he's pretty confident when he dropped that towel. I think there was Chris, you can find that article on Nat. Chris, the name of the swimmer that you just took down after putting it up, please just leave it up there.
All right, I'm putting other information in.
I know, but you put
I think
the
you're
name.
talking about Leah Thomas.
We are, but I'd like to have it in front of me. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
When I was in high school in Kansas, and I would come visit my dad, and there was a Laker game, and we were told not to cheer. You're sitting with the press. I went into the locker room.
Saw things you can't unsee.
Rick Fox is a hell of a guy.
Really? Wow.
What year would that have been?
2000.
I don't even
Maybe
think I was that old.
earlier.
I was definitely in Kansas. So maybe I was in college.
I think earlier.
Oh, well,
maybe.
sorry, but
High
the
school.
Lakers in
But it
2000.
was. I saw everybody, and remember,
And
they're
those
much taller.
matinee idol good looks and
handsome fella.
He's been in here. I had a spicy armpit situation.
oh really?
Remember, he was sitting right
Yeah.
here, and I kept having this recovered memory.
He winked at her
Yeah.
in that locker room.
Natalie, what about the wine merchanting? What about the making of the wines? Let me give a Gadarian Wines is what it's called. Where'd the name come from?
It means to gather in Old English. So it's
nice.
myself and my partner. So rather than being like Coughlin Wines, we wanted to come up with something to gather around the table. And we've actually had Bryan and Christy. Any of you guys are welcome to come visit us in Napa Valley anytime you're up. But yeah, make Pinot Noir, Chenin Blanc, boutique winery up here in the valley.
Do you still have the rosé, Natalie?
We do. We bottled the rosé yesterday. We're going to bottle our red blend today.
Save a couple.
Get
Set
it
a
while
couple
you
aside.
can because it sells out very, very quickly.
Yes.
I have a real love-hate relationship with Natalie's Instagram because it's inspiring and it's beautiful, but then it's like, look at these beautiful robin's egg blue and like pastel green eggs that my chickens hatch. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go sit on the 405. I hope you guys are having
I
good
know.
time up there. I mean, it's incredible what she does.
I'll catch people up.
It's pretty idyllic here in the Bay Area.
In 1990, reporter Lisa Olson was interviewing players in
1990.
the locker room. Several players taunted her by walking naked in her presence. Zeke Moat fondled his
Tried to lasso-
genitalia.
I got to see this guy.
Zeke fondled his genitalia in front of her.
Oh.
That was my story that was
How very
trapped in my
Hannibal
head of the
Lecter.
great Zeke
Don't
Moat.
remember that.
Did
Hey,
he get fined?
there was a hullabaloo.
Okay.
I don't remember what. It was enough that I remember it. I wasn't
No other reason to remember is Deke Moab.
right. Wasn't a big Giants fan. I just remember hearing about
I
it.
see.
And Chris, maybe you can find that story with the UPenn swimming mate that
Leah Thomas.
got into. Leah Thomas, right? That you can. You're only basing it on. Sometimes Chris puts names on my screen, and then I look down, and then they've gone away, and I always tell him just leave the name. It's easier.
It's on there now.
It's on there now. There you go. But there was a story, and I don't know where. Anyway, Natalie, let me give you a plug, my dear, and thank you so much for being such a loyal listener.
Oh, thank you guys. I love listening to you, especially on my hour-and-a-half drive up to the valley.
Well, check in with us anytime, and I know that Bryan will take you up on the vineyard thing. Gina,
Again.
probably me, only because of my schedule, lesser chance, but I would love to come up there and kick some tires and grapes.
There we
Oh,
are.
there they are.
Yeah, nice day.
Natalie
Beautiful.
Coughlin, thank you so much. Gadarian Wines and website, NatalieCoughlin.com. Thanks, Natalie.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Nice to have people in the field of expertise listening to the show. So that article.
Yeah, so it's a.
Did you find a
it's
picture of Zeke Moat?
We'll get that for you in a sec. So,
Seemed like
Daily Mail.
He looked like the kind of guy who had some junk to fondle.
Some stank in his tank?
I could tell by his name.
Gina.
I could strum, but I couldn't fondle. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
More
could
of a
fiddle.
more of a ukulele situation, or
Than an upright bass.
yeah, a mandolin.
Picking without the grinning.
Yeah.
I see.
You're Bruce Hornsby on the mandolin.
I could fiddle, but I couldn't fondle. Right. I'm a fiddler, not a fondler when it comes to
understand.
junk. Unless it's, unless there's pretty warm wind blowing.
Sure.
All right. Can you find that
Boom.
Want to say
article?
fondler?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So Daily Mail, they had an exclusive with one of Leah Thomas's teammates. The quote is, "We're uncomfortable in our own locker room." Leah Thomas's UPenn teammate tells how the trained swimmer doesn't always cover up her male genitals when changing, and their concerns go ignored by their coach.
Coach doesn't want any part of this.
Right.
Coach wants a job.
The teammate says it's definitely awkward because Leah still has male body parts and is still attracted to women. The swimmer said that multiple teammates have raised their concerns with their coach, trying to get Thomas ousted from the female locker room.
See, now we're at this great intersection of intersectionality. Now all the woke people are fucked because on one hand, you never stop bloviating about women's rights, and here's a bunch of college-age girls that have to be
Complaining that feel
exposed
threatened,
to this.
yeah.
On the other hand, transgender rights are super important as well. And now
Where do you go?
You retards can all go to your bouncy castle Thunderdome and duke it out because I don't give a fuck. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, this definitely is a difference between the swim team and like the theater troupe. Because I'm thinking, what's the they're welcome with open arms, but yeah, maybe it's a different culture, it's a different vibe.
I would say how do you avoid, swimming, like getting out of your bathing suit into the shower or whatever?
Yeah.
Sorry, continue a little, Max Spada.
Sure. The teammate says, we were basically told that we could not ostracize Leah by not having her in the locker room and that there's nothing we can do about it.
Damn.
And she said that Leah Thomas appears to enjoy all the attention and said it affects the team more than it does her.
Right, but she's a hero, and this
she's
person
winning.
has to do this anonymously, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Lest they be outed.
They'd be
locker room
They'll be
work.
thrown out
ostracized, yeah.
for not wanting to see male genitalia in their female locker room. All right, let's see. Adam Ray is going to be Zeke Mowat.
All right.
Yeah, he's packing heat in those shorts. I'll tell you that right now. It's a strong name.
Oh, fuck yeah. Zeke Mowat.
Zeke Mowat. Zeke probably may have had a good Pro Bowl season or two.
I don't remember the name, so I couldn't even tell you.
What position? Not that
Tight end.
Tight end.
Definitely,
Oh, indeed.
definitely,
Same as Gronk.
definitely started and definitely played a few seasons and was a
Long enough to strum his dick.
That's right. Stand out enough that we've heard of him. Ow. But imagine in 2022 if a female reporter came into the male locker room and a guy just hung his dick out and walked past her and just shook it around.
That is
in front of her.
100% considered sexual assault. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you say?
Oh, he'd be banned from the league.
Yeah.
He'd be on the commissioner's exempt list.
There'd be banned from the league with some maybe criminal charges brought up as well. All right, let me tell you.
The NFL fined him $12,500.
And how many years? Did he have any Pro Bowl years, or
1,000 per
did
inch.
he make it to the All
Not saying
Madden?
it,
That
just,
got him onto the All Madden team. I'll tell you that right now.
Just seeing
Illustrate that shit.
one Super Bowl championship, but I'm not seeing any Pro Bowl.
Oh, he won with Phil Simms and the Giants back in the
in
day.
1990,
Yeah.
right?
All right, let me tell you about Noom. Noom uses psychology to empower you to build a smarter, more sustainable habits. That's right. Based on scientifically proven principles, Noom doesn't believe in restricting diet. No, Noom gives you the knowledge to make informed choices that fit your lifestyle and your goals. You decide how how it fits in your life. 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. How much time do you want to spend on the app? Well, that's up to you. An off day is okay. Noom Weight gently helps you get back on track. It's a marathon, people. It's not a sprint. More than 75% of users complete the program, and over 60% lose 5% or more body weight by week 16. It is Noom, right, Dawson?
Sign up for your trial and get psychology-based support and motivation to reach your goals at noom.com/Adam. That's noom.com/Adam to sign up for your free trial.
All right. Let's see. Adam.
Zeke played 7 seasons, 6 of them with the Giants. And his best season was his second year. He caught for almost 700 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Well, not too bad.
No.
Well,
Especially 84, there wasn't a big, a lot of stats piled up by tight ends.
yeah, they didn't use the tight ends like they use them now. Back then, they blocked, they caught some short yardage stuff, but they weren't stretching it down the field.
And correction, he won the Super Bowl in 86 with the Giants.
Oh.
They also, it's kind of interesting how the game has changed because tight ends used to be slightly smaller offensive linemen, just sort of big dudes. And now they're fast dudes who
super
are,
athletes.
are leaner.
George Kittle's one of the better athletes in the league.
Oh my God.
Didn't you say Gronk is a tight end?
Yeah.
And he's a huge dude.
He's on the bigger side of the tight end. KC's tight end.
Travis
Kelsey.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kelsey.
yeah.
He's more the prototype. A little longer, a little leaner.
But even
can
Gronk
run.
would look small next to like most of the tackles in the league.
Oh, yeah. But the position, much like on the defensive side of the ball, like the outside linebackers and stuff, these guys, they're all longer, they're all leaner, and they're all faster because they've figured out that this sort of brute force grunt strength is good, but
limited.
speed is what they're really looking at. And everyone is just fast as shit.
In the NFL or even in college football, can you play more than one position? Like, well, I'm tight end and I'm cornerback.
Ask Adam Carolla.
That's right. All
Two-way
Central
starter.
Valley on offense, best defensive player on defense.
That's
What
what
was
I'm
that
saying.
question again?
Like, does that exist in professional football?
It's rare.
It's rare. It used to exist a lot on occasion.
It's a little more gimmicky now. Like you'll see, like this is a few years ago, but Deion Sanders would occasionally play by a receiver, but he primarily played defense. Like guys primarily play. One
They'll
position.
sometimes have guys returning punts for sure that are playing cornerback or on the offensive side of the ball. And on occasion, especially if a guy or two gets hurt in front of them, and then you have like
Troy Brown.
And you have the Saints with
I forgot who it was.
what's his name?
Well, that's kind of what I
White
mean.
dude, but he
Like if someone
played
gets
quarterback half the season.
Wow.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, he kind of was a quarterback, but that's not really his
Hybrid.
job. But enough people get hurt.
You'll see it too in like especially situations where like it's a Hail Mary situation. They'll put a receiver on defense because they're good at getting the ball, or you know what I mean. They're going to throw a deep pass anyway, so they might as well put a receiver, in the backfield,
and all these guys,
defensive backfield.
now they always go, this guy played quarterback in high school because they're all the best athletes from their high school. So they were quarterback
Right.
at some point, and then when they got to college, they got moved to cornerback, but they've taken snaps and
Carried the ball, yeah.
They can do it. All right, we'll get Adam Ray is coming from Australia.
Ooh,
Yeah, he's
good
filming.
day.
He's filming the next season of the Young Rock. But
Is there a reason they're in Australia?
I don't know. I guess we should find that out.
Well,
But that's where
remember-
he filmed last time too. So I don't know.
Remember when the Facts of Life went to Australia? Maybe that's like for sweeps.
I remember when the Brady's went to
He filmed
went
in
to
Australia
Honolulu.
for season 1 too. So
Wow.
season 1 as well.
That's
Yes.
fucking awesome.
But I'm wondering, like everything they trade everything out for everything, So they go to New Mexico and they film, and it's supposed
Right.
to be Riverside, California, and then they go to Atlanta and they film, or they go to Prague and film. But
Toronto.
they're trading it out for
Yeah.
something. But Australia seems pretty far away to trade out for
Yeah.
Laguna Beach or
I'm
something.
very
So,
curious about that.
It was lured to Queensland with the help to help the federal government's location incentive program for Universal Studio Group.
They must be getting paid.
Yeah, along with Irreverent and Joe Exotic.
So go halfway around the world. What kind of money does that take?
Well, it
we
just
travel.
It just
If they're
shows
interested.
you how Hollywood works, which is there is no distance they will travel to not pay taxes or to get a break on whatever. It's not called Show Friends.
What's it called?
Show business. It's a business.
This whole time,
business of show.
This whole
Don't
time,
kid
I'm calling
yourself.
it Show Friends.
Hey, I could tell you it wasn't, but I'd be lying to you.
Don't lie.
All right,
I can't take it.
It's a business. That's how they roll. So I don't know when you're.
Oh, and I don't know if you've watched any of Pam and Tommy, but Adam Ray's also in that. as Jay Leno.
Do we have a clip?
We do.
Oh my God!
You didn't know that?
I didn't. I haven't seen it yet. What's
He's all
Pam
over
and,
the trailer.
What's Pam and Tommy on?
Hulu.
That's a Hulu series about the sex tape.
Oh yeah, I hear it's good. Is it good?
I haven't seen it.
I just finished Station 11, so this is next.
Okay.
Fabulous, by the way.
You know, I never imagined there was something sex-related Pamela Anderson doesn't know.
All right.
Now, speaking of sex, and I have to ask,
Yes.
the tape. Well, yeah, fellas, we all want to know.
What tape, Jay?
All right, what tape, yeah. Now, obviously, I haven't seen it, you know.
No, of course
I want
not.
to, just haven't gotten a copy yet, but there's a tape out there floating around, okay? A lot of people are talking about this tape, particularly for some reason. Men! Oh, I think we have, yeah. Now, what's that like? What's it like to have that kind of exposure?
What's it like?
Yeah.
Dramatic.
I want to
good
see
Jay Leno.
this. I
That
know.
was a good Jay.
I can't compete with my Jay gibberish. Pam.
Yes.
Sex tape.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Tommy Lee houseboat with this cock.
No, he didn't pull a houseboat with his car.
Pull a skip a
No,
skip a hog.
No, we don't live on a hog farm. What are you saying?
I'm saying there's a tape up there. I haven't seen the tape, but
It's Baywatch has been great.
let's talk about barbed wire.
No, it's barbed wire. Yeah, and I got the tattoo.
You ever see Barb Wire?
Yep.
Yes, thankfully, I've only seen the cover. You've seen the movie?
No, I know it exists,
I'm
and she has the
familiar.
tattoo.
I've seen some of it.
Does it hold up?
Well, in my pantheon of movies
It's as
where
good as ever.
where they came up with the title
Oh.
before they came up with the movie, somebody thought of Barb
second to none.
Wire, Barbara Wire.
It must be, because I think it was a graphic novel.
I couldn't tell you.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know either.
All right, I don't like calling hobos and bums previously housed, and I don't like calling comic books graphic novels. It's
Yeah.
all too majestic.
It legitimizes the form.
Let's call it what it is. It's the only way to eradicate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Colorful drawings for kids.
We'll take ourselves a break. We'll come back with Adam Ray right after this.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
This go to 11.
If you said, this is Spinal Tap,
These go to 11.
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
Well, the great Adam Ray has joined us all the way from Australia. Not sure what city you're in, but tell us, Adam.
Crikey.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
Do I sound like I've been here for 2 months?
Yeah, have you been there for 2 months?
Yeah, we're coming up on 9 weeks, maybe.
Wow.
Not to step in the way of Hugh Grant's rom-com, but yeah, about 9 weeks, I think. I'm in the Gold Coast, which is like Brisbane adjacent. Like it's about an hour from Brisbane.
And
so if you were in LA, this is like Glendale. I'm in the Glendale of Australia.
Working on Young Rock. Season 2 premieres March 15th on NBC. And how is it there? Like, what's the schedule like? Are you shooting every day? You getting days off? Are you able to explore, see the beach, see the towns?
Great question, Ed. You haven't missed a beat since I've last been in studio. This is no, it's been awesome. It's last season I barely felt like I was a part of the show last season. I was down there, and it was cool to play Vince McMahon, and the first time he's been played on TV. Apparently, I didn't know that. That's what The Rock told me. And by the way, that's gonna be the name of my memoir. That's what The Rock told me, and it's just gonna be a bunch of anecdotes of things he's may or may not told me. But so this season is a lot more of him becoming The Rock post-college. Because if you haven't watched the show, it's 3 different time periods they flash back to in his life, 10, 15, and 19. And so now the older Rock is starting to, make his splash into the wrestling world. And so Vince obviously becomes a big part of his life and, a more or less a father figure, him and this guy, Pat Patterson. And so it's just been awesome to do to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love acting, and coming down here to have free time is cool. I had a week in Sydney off, and I did a bunch of shows and ate a lot of yum cha, which is like their Panda Express. And I know that sounds like you pay something you pay Brad to do to you in Vegas, give you a yum cha, but it's actually a fine Japanese cuisine in Sydney. But so then I shot for 4 days, had a couple days off. And then the longest I've had off is maybe right now I have today off, and then tomorrow will be Saturday because I'm in the future, and then Sunday, and then I'll get to watch the Super Bowl 9:30 a.m. on Monday in the One Sports Bar in our hotel, which I think is the only American bar really down here. And they're having a big Super Bowl party. I don't know how many people care about American football down here.
It'll just say, welcome, Adam.
Yeah, it better.
Is there a whole big infrastructure there? They're building out stages and doing kind of like what happened in Atlanta recently?
Oh yeah, I mean they've got a full. We're shooting at their Warner Brothers. They've got their full on. Out here is where a lot of stuff shoots. Like the Pirates of the Caribbean shoots out here. I went on this little jet ski tour one day, and they were telling me all the things that we're filming. And we're on about 6 stages, and they've got full on wrestling ring sets with green screen surrounding the whole thing, and Vince's office is a whole setup. So yeah, it's a full on. It looks like any Hollywood lot that you're farting around. So it's pretty cool. And, I think they're getting I think financially it's a good deal to be out here. Originally, we came out here because when nothing was open in the States, I think the NBC was like, you can go to Australia now, or you can fucking, wait to see if Benedict Cumberbatch ever gets to act again in anything. And so they were like, yeah, let's go to Australia and get it done.
How is The Rock and Vince McMahon? I don't know that much about Vince McMahon, but it seems like maybe he rubs some people the wrong way.
What?
That's about all I know. But The Rock may love him or get along with him great,
Game his career,
or have a feud growing.
He's a true businessman. If he saw Stephanie Matto was selling jarred farts, he'd be like, that's a business move. That's a strong decision, and I respect it. She's supporting her family. No, he's 76 now. There's a documentary apparently coming out on Netflix about him that's going to really, I think, tell the tale. But, he's a real man of his word type guy. Grew up in a pretty funky living situation with an abusive dad and trailer park home, and just really came from nothing and a lot of, abuse, and kind of is a true, built something out of nothing type story, and had a very unorthodox way of kind of getting into the promotional world in so many ways that a lot of the other promoters were like trying to take him out because they didn't like what he was doing, and he was just a young hustler and was doing more than the bare men, and developed a real relationship with a lot of these guys. And I think why The Rock and he became so close, the father figure aspect, which I think was maybe a little bit a gap for both those guys with whatever they were filling for each other. But Vince, they really dug each other, and Vince really believed in them, and I think if he took you under his wing, really had a lot invested in trying to help you achieve your dreams, which also benefited his business. But there's some great scenes of me first meeting Dwayne and telling him he's going to the Madison Square Garden for the first big WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, and also telling him that he's not ready to be in the WWF, which is a really cool thing, which I didn't know. He kind of got sent down to the minors, which was kind of as Dwayne says in the show, like a shitty thing to hear, that he wasn't ready after he'd been doing all this training and getting seen in all these matches. And then, but then on the flip side, being in Vince McMahon's office is a big deal. And to have him tell you, we're going to send you down, and then when you're ready, we're going to call you back up, really lit a fire under his ass. But Dwayne apparently was you go back and you watch the footage, like a once in a lifetime type talent. And so it's you see people that get to these levels, and I know I do this. I just go, oh yeah, of course. Like they look at them now. Of course they were going to always be this, but it's like, man, there are some true, when you go back and do the research, it's like, there's no blueprint that says just because he became a popular wrestler that he was going to turn into what he has turned into. So it's cool to be able to tell at least this part of the story. And the more you get into it, just like any show, the more you learn and discover, which helps, inform your choices for the performance. But also, I just have gone down some Vince McMahon rabbit holes that, which has been nice because it's kind of pushed like the fucking, some of the porn choices down the cookie searches, and it's just filled up with Vince McMahon now. So if anyone ever jacks my laptop or jacks off to my laptop, they'll be very confused, but also informed.
I'll just assume you're beating off to Vince McMahon.
This guy loves Vince McMahon.
I wish I had an abusive dad. I feel like I would be on top of the mountain right now. You know what I mean?
Show him.
Because look, the comedic ability is there. It's the abusive dad that's really the creatine to the mix.
Hurts.
It supersizes it.
Let's go down the list of abusive dads who have created amazing people. Ready? Let's start with Vince's dad.
Yeah.
Let's immediately just jump ship to Michael Jackson's dad. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Household names.
Brian Wilson.
Yeah. I mean, they're all the greats. Yep. All the greats. And I feel like the ability's there, but I'm not overcompensating for the hurt, and I didn't make any proclamations of one day you'll love me.
It's not a good story
It's just I need a little that rocket fuel that only abuse, evidently. And they're never thanked, by the way.
No.
They never thank them.
No.
But there's always...
It's a thankless job.
It's a thankless job being an abuser. Look, Mike Tyson may have had an abusive, or absentee or abusive dad, but I feel like because you're always grinding, you're always chasing it, you're always...
Do you love me now?
Yeah, it's a fire. It starts a fire.
Then you have to have the confrontation
now, I will say this.
years down the road.
Oh, go ahead, Brian.
You have to have the confrontation years down the road. That's an added bonus.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Now, I had, there's the abusive dad, and then there's the no dad, and I had the no dad path. So then I think there's also in the same token you're overcompensating, you're trying to, earn that love and attention. But it would have been nice to maybe have.
You had a stepdad come in, and you.
But then George beat me, so then it's
George beat you. He seemed like such a nice guy.
No. George is an animal. And also he beat me later in life, which I guess was for him to prove that you can still, get shit done in your 70s. And then also that, he's the man of the house just because I was here first. He's fucking her. So it's like, you win, I guess.
But imagine how your career, your career's fine.
Love you, George.
There's nothing wrong with your career. But just imagine
major changes.
Imagine the heights you'd be soaring to right now if biological dad abandons the family and then stepdad abusive alcoholic.
George brings out the belt.
Right now, we'd be doing a show called Young You. It sounds like an Asian figure skater. Young Adam Ray.
Young You.
Finally, a reason
taking
to watch the
ice.
Olympics.
That's right. Young You's been quarantined.
Yeah. If Young You can post some food pics on her gram, then I think people will.
Yeah.
If George were now, here's an interesting question. If George, who is not a violent man at all, him and I have gotten in some shouting matches, which is just awesome. But I think if his weapon of choice, because he's such a scholar, would probably be an old library book. He's got a library, and he's got a lot of his porn is like old spelling books from like the 50s or the 40s. Also anime bukkake, but he starts with the spelling, the old spelling books. No. So I think his weapon of choice, if he were like a Mortal Kombat character and it was like stepdad versus stepson, it'd be fucking books to the face.
It'd be a
like
tome.
5 at a time. And he'd be like throwing them out. If you were playing him in the game, like you definitely would be able to, shovel those things out like fireballs from Super Mario, like real quick. And then probably they'd be able to take your head off. Look, I digress, but
how is it doing stand-up in Australia? Is the audience know you?
Awesome.
Are they appreciative?
Let me tell you something. Not only do they know me, they know you guys. I've gotten quite a few. Heard you on Carolla, mate. So get your asses down here. Let's set up a live show. It rules, dude. They love American comedy. I went down to this club in Brisbane. Last time I was here, I did shows because I had so much downtime. I did 3-4 shows a night for 5-6 weeks. And it was just awesome. Got to know the young comics in the community. And And some were more pumped than others that I was there. Some were just because it was a cool American, maybe see me on a few things, and some were real fans that really helped chaperone me around, which was cool. But there's a club called Sit Down Comedy Club that I did last week, and they said they slotted me for 30 minutes. I ended up doing about 90 minutes, and it was real fun. And they just, local references might be the one thing that gets in the way, but other than that, like they're very privy to what's going down, and it's great. I mean, there's a club in Sydney called the Comedy Store that is probably the best club out there, and it's there's tons of from Harlan to Tom Rhodes and Pauly and Arch Barker and Dice, and it's just there's tons of American comics that have come through there. But they get it, man. It's probably, I mean, you hear about also like Denmark and Sweden. There's other spots that are really, thirsty for American giggles. But Australia, they're, as far as I know and have heard about the shows they watch and talking to them, they're the most excited and the most like asking me questions about hey, so is Joe Rogan really canceled? Is the N-word really that bad? They'll ask me.
Is it? So how are their sensibilities? Because Australia is kind of interesting. When I grew up, it was a lot of Crocodile Dundee and Vegemite and just down under was a dude. It was like I thought the whole place was one big frat house. You know,
it's a novelty.
And then oi. And then COVID came around and they went sort of nuts with lockdowns and rules, and then they seemed really scared during COVID. And so I was like, well, this doesn't feel like Jocko to me or whoever, my picture of the Australian prototypical guy. But how are the audiences? Because, out here, you can kind of feel it if you tell a joke, a little racial or a little something, you can feel the sphincters tightening up a little bit. Are they more open sort of from an idea, verbal standpoint than we are out here? Or how's it feel when you're on stage?
Yeah, I mean, they politically, they're pretty up to date. And they enjoy... I mean, I'm dogging on both sides, and they're pretty into it. I saw some comics really going after certain, groups and people, laughing like a good comedy club crowd would if the joke's funny. And they also, it just like any club too, though. Like you get a mix of like the Comedy Store had more of a younger, hip, little drunk crowd. And then the Sit Down Comedy Club was a good mix, but a little on the older side. But there was this older couple that I finally singled out at the end, and I said the guy looked like kind of a Vegemite Santa Claus, and he was like, I actually do mall Santa during the year, but I'm retired from that. And then the wife was shit faced, and she was like, but he's still he still gives me everything on my list, and I was like, oh, let's go down that list real quick. And then she didn't want to do it. So then I did it for her, and she yes-anded about 6 different sex toys. And then, that was a fun little banter. And then I did some joke about, there's an Australian woman actually out in the Gold Coast where I'm staying that apparently got famous on OnlyFans. Cause I Googled like fun Australian facts. And I said this on stage to kind of have some topical references. And what popped up was Gold Coast stripper on OnlyFans gets famous for 2 vaginas. And so I told them that. I was like, yeah, that's what happens when you Google fun facts in Australia. So that came up, and I was like, all right, go on. What else? What else is happening here? And then talked about all that, and people were yelling stuff out and had other information about it, and we became this whole dialogue, almost like a town hall meeting. Like, how do we get more people with 2 vaginas? But it's, been pretty receptive so far, but you see all the things you see in American comedy clubs with people being too fucked up. I don't see them having in any of the shows I've done where people have been shit-faced. There's no security. There's security maybe, but no one's really looking to take anyone out. So I don't know if that's like a nice guy thing.
Are they? Is the audience masked up? Are there vax?
Great question.
Mandates to get into the club?
No. There's no. It's open mouth, open season, and everyone's just kind of farting around. You see masks out at this mall that I go to. I think there are mandates still, but even I went and saw this. I went by myself to see the J-Lo Owen Wilson movie last night.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I can't.
Wow. Homesick.
I saw Jackass.
Marry Me.
Mary, how do you know?
God.
I watched TMZ.
Of
it was on
course.
TMZ because Ben Affleck and they're standing in front of this huge banner. They're doing the step and repeat, and it says "Marry Me." So they're now kind of putting the pressure on him
Uncomfortable.
out front. But yeah, so
nice.
how was it?
Well, look, I mean, I was talking to my dad, and he was like, he's like, yeah, it looks good. He's like, you should go see that. And I was like, yeah, I guess, if I do that, will that make you happy? Will you finally love me since you didn't get to beat me? And so I went and saw it. And I mean, Owen Wilson is always solid. I'll say that. Mm-hmm. And so is she. It seemed like a movie that was just, I mean, it's predictable from the get-go. And it's just, I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a part of me that's always like, it's sometimes it's nice to watch a movie you don't have to think about, that it's just kind of like, easily digestible, and you can kind of just, but I mean, it was just, I guess it just was not buyable. That's the thing. You're watching this, J-Lo's this like, God, and Owen Wilson's just fucking Owen Wilson, just standing in the audience with his kid. He brought his kid to the show because maybe it would, she'd think he was cool. And he's holding a sign that says "Marry Me." Everyone in the crowd is holding a "Marry Me" sign. And at one point, spoiler alert, her fiance, they're going to get married during the show in front of 500 billion people. And I can't believe I'm explaining the plot of "Marry Me" right now at 9:00 a.m. on a Friday in Brisbane. So the guy is cheating on her. She doesn't get married. She looks out in the crowd. She's like, I still got to go through with the wedding. Owen Wilson's holding a "Marry Me" sign. And she's like, you. And he's like, me? With the fucked up nose? Right? And then, the rest is history. But, then he doesn't think it's real. They fall in love, which I guess, it's fun to buy into that bullshit. But
sure. And
they're fine.
His hair looks extra silken and voluminous.
Oh, really?
Oh, in the trailer, it's like its own character.
He
looks like he looks like he just rolled out of bed before every take. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think he's created this character to where everyone's like, yeah, I don't expect Owen Wilson to ever be like fully put together. He's kind of, established that.
He has a nose that looks like a penis, right? And
like Joe Camel,
which in some countries is a delicacy.
And John Bradley, I think, is in the movie and is going to be on the show next week.
Oh, shit, that was too soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know which one John Bradley was.
Oh, Samwell Tartan.
Yeah.
It's from Game of Thrones. Nerd.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I also will say this, and I don't know if I've told the story before, but, I had a small part in that J-Lo movie's second act. Because Pete Siegel, who directed Tommy Boy and 51st Dates and Nutty Professor, is a homie and found a little part for me. And I got to do the scene with J-Lo. And I was so fucking weird and awkward. And she was so cool that I just have a special place in my heart for, where I show up on set, didn't sleep on the red eye, went right to set. It's fucking 8 a.m. Pete's like, Jennifer, this is Adam. You'll be doing the scene with him. She's like, hey, how you doing? She goes, how do you and Pete know each other? And without even thinking, because, you're just in that comic mindset where you're just like, sometimes, you just, no filter. You just think it and you say it. Here it is and here it comes. She goes, how do you and Pete know each other? I go, oh, we used to fuck. I thought that was funny. Pete kind of makes a weird smirk and he goes, oh. She smirks and smiles because I guess it was so just not expected. And she goes, okay. And then Pete goes, okay, Adam. And then I go, no, I'm just kidding. And then decide to double down and go, we still fuck. And then she laughed. And then Pete goes, all right, maybe rehearsal time. And I go, and I just look at her, I go, I'm sorry, I didn't sleep on the plane. She goes, all good, I can't sleep on planes. And I go, very cool. Didn't make me feel awkward. We jump in, we do the scene. And then she was cool to me at the premiere. So I guess there's a part of me that's like, I will never not support her endeavors.
You got to root for J-Lo.
All right, we're gonna
root for it.
We're gonna do some sports ball with Bald Bryan.
We're not, but keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Well, first, and Adam's going to hang with us. First, I'll hit Stamps.com, your small business. It's not small to you. Can't afford to miss opportunities to grow. Stamps.com. Skip the post office. Skip that trip and focus on your small business. Print official postage right from your computer. Spend less time at the post office and more time making your customers happy. Plus, discounts you can't find anywhere else. Like 40% off USPS rates and 76% off UPS rates. We use it here. We've always used it here. They've been a sponsor for well over a decade. Whether you're an office sending invoices or a side hustle, Etsy shop, or full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. Stamps.com, right, Dawson?
Stop overpaying for shipping with Stamps.com. Sign up with promo code Adam for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com. Click the microphone at the top of the page and enter code Adam.
All right, we'll play some, or we'll do some sports ball. Adam Ray's going to hang out. We'll do that right after this.
Available now for pre-order. Adam's 6th book. Everything reminds me of something. Advice, answers, but no apologies.
It's insane. I blame everybody but me.
Adam drops knowledge, rants, and laughs, answering actual questions from you, the listener, and some celebrity friends. Follow the link at adamcarolla.com to purchase on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or through IndieBound to find your local independent bookseller. Everything reminds me of something. Coming this summer, wherever finer books are sold.
All right, Adam Ray's hanging with us. Pam and Tommy, well, that's out on Hulu. And then Young Rock, Season 2 coming up as well. Live dates all over the place back here in the States. Just go to AdamRayComedy.com for dates and tickets and, of course, a podcast about last night. So, Bryan, explain.
So what happens is, obviously, the Super Bowl's on Sunday. This episode will come out on Friday, so you got a couple of days to get ready. But every year, Adam, I don't know if you're aware of my hilarious little bit that I do about these hashtag sports ball tweets, but every year, hipsters take it upon themselves to proclaim to the world on Twitter how little they know or care about sports. Despite them being super into pop culture, they have no time for the biggest pop culture event in the world, certainly in the country.
Can I say this as a comedic premise?
Yes.
That's
the other thing.
Explaining you don't know about something that everyone knows about is not really good enough a jumping off point for comedy.
Yeah.
It's fucked out. It's been done a million. I'm sure there was some guy going, the Black Plague. What is
that?
it? Yes.
Is there some sort of plague today?
It's fucked out.
Well, and
and
Bryan
that's the basic base of it, right?
Bryan just alluded to it, but like the most famous example would be something like, oh, is there some sort of game going on today?
Yeah, classic examples include that, of course. There's some sort of event going on around the Dr. Dre concert. You'll see a lot of that.
Right. I've seen that one a lot. Yeah. I mean, come on. It's arguably, there's no bigger sporting event that everyone knows about. And by the way, all these people that are dogging on it are all going or planning their own parties.
Yeah,
just for the sake
here's
of the
my
party.
challenge to these pussies, because I know who they are. They're the fucking nerds. They're inheriting the earth and they're ruining our lives. You pussies do this next time we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. Do it.
There's some sort of celebration.
Something going on?
Oh, did a doctor do something?
All the banks are closed.
Should I bring my medical bag?
See how Twitter treats you. See how it rewards you for your amazing comedic chops.
So my request, my assignment to our listeners, as always, and everyone comes through, it's such a help for people to, if you see one of these out in the wild, hashtag it with sports ball and tag me in the retweet or the comment or whatever. Very important rules. Number one, please, blue check marks only. I'm not doxing, normal people, average citizen, someone with 2 followers. I want to make their life miserable. We're just, doing, the celebrities, the hipsters, the whatever. Use the hashtag sportsball and make sure it's, it's solid. It's great. If it's a company, they're probably calculated in some way. I don't really care too much about that. But Chris has some previous winners. I don't know if this is interesting to you guys, but I always, just to prove I'm no pun intended, a good sport, I always reach out to the winner, quote unquote, and say, hey, I'm doing this stupid thing. I'm going to make a contribution to your charity of your choice, just to show that I'm not just an asshole. I'm an asshole who also makes a contribution to your charity. And surprisingly, every year, I'm waiting for the first guy to say, fuck off and block me.
A lot of quarterbacks.
So judgmental.
Yeah.
That's the hooking ladder up.
Yeah, it's a lot of quarterbacks.
Wait, she's got to be Canadian or English, the way she's spelling some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. And I've said this many times. Like, I've always said not everything is progress, and not everything that's big is bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Super Bowl is big, and it's good.
Yeah.
The NFL, I mean, if you take a look at the last 6 playoff games, they're all decided with the last possession of the ball. Like the NFL does a nice job of parity, and they get a lot of shit right. And the Super Bowl is really the crowning achievement for them. But it doesn't all. What I'm saying is there are, In-N-Out Burgers, a big franchise, and they still make a hell of a burger. It doesn't always have to be bad just because you've heard of it or it's
popular.
big.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, I don't know if you have the video one. I've teased it now. I might as well play it. This is from either last year or the year
This
before.
is this 2021.
There you go.
Did anybody else
this
not
kid,
know?
Wait, sorry, we'll play it.
This kid definitely feels like he said something anti-Semitic to me, like when I played online games, like the last time I played online games. You know what I'm saying? And meant it. Didn't just say it ironically. Like said it, and then there was no laugh on his end. And then I was like, "All right, man. Well, good game, dude. I'll talk to you later."
Did anybody else not know who was playing in the Super Bowl today until you got on your computer and Googled it? Or did you not even know that the Super Bowl was today until you saw it blowing up on your timeline last night and this morning? Well, if that's true, you're not alone. You're not the only one who's not such a big fan of sports ball, especially American football, which is like 75% advertisements. I don't know why I would watch this when I can watch Twitch instead.
There you go.
Well, that's
it's all there.
perfect. That's
it's all
on
there.
brand.
The pink headphones, sports ball, the wild exaggeration of 75%.
I'd rather be on Twitch.
Well, I think the problem with these little pussy ass bitches is that most of them are staying inside. First of all, most of them don't even drive cars. Okay, so they're isolated in their parents' home without any choices to make other than to get on Twitch and to use the Cheeto dust from their fingertips to masturbate to old videos of the Adam Carolla podcast. We'll be right back.
Dr. Phil, I'm reading here that you were a linebacker at the University of Tulsa.
That's correct. A lot of people don't realize that I could have gone pro. I just chose a different path, and that's all life is wanting to go one way, but going another way. And sometimes life does it for you. Great example of that is Owen Wilson. He wanted to be in porn with that penis nose, and they told him, regular acting is where you're going to shine. And so he was able to get the best of both worlds and still have the penis nose, but still be in films with dogs.
Regular
now,
acting.
I think that if at Tulsa is a place where they let any fat guy play football, and not that I was fat, I was more husky. I just. My nickname was Penis and Tits Guy, which we all know was. But football is do I love the Super Bowl? Yes. Have I been? No. Would I like to be invited? Sure. But there's other things going on. There's Succession reruns. There's Bikram yoga. There's Twitch.
I got to be honest, Penis and Tits Guy as a nickname doesn't roll off the tongue.
It
No,
makes
but-
me laugh so
but super
goddamn hard.
insulting. Super insulting. You reminded me. You reminded me of something that I used to make fun of, but I don't see it that much anymore. I don't hear it that much anymore, which is guy who interviews himself.
Oh, yeah. Asks himself the question and answers it.
Do I wish I never got behind the wheel of the vehicle that night?
Sure.
Of course I do.
Yeah. Would I do anything to take it back?
Do I wish I had a magic wand and this whole thing could go away?
Indeed.
Now, no one can ever bring Jessica back. Do I wish she could come back? Yes. Would I do it again? No. Am I... They interview themselves?
Yes. No more questions.
They don't do that.
Hey, that's
Guys,
so good. Yeah. Yeah, do I wish I had the longest arms known to man so I could have reached down that well and gotten her? Yes. Do I wish she wouldn't have hidden my TV remote and I wouldn't have been forced to put her in that well myself? Of course.
Right. Do I wish I had a time machine and I could go back? Like, there used to be a lot of hypothetical self-interviewing up on stage.
Yeah.
I don't see it anymore. Maybe
where did we get it? Was it?
Hopefully we transitioned, we evolved out of it, but
I'd hope so. And you actually put a button on that. That is another thing that people don't do, thank God, is after they get done, they go, but I can't. I don't have a time machine. I can't go back in time. I would if I could,
Right.
but I don't have power to bend space and time. Like, we get it. We
That's
live here
amazing.
too.
And nothing I say is going to bring Jessica back.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Because if you had
Do you
that
think porn
power,
stars say that?
you'd be in demand.
Wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right, exactly.
You'd be highly sought
think there's
after if you could talk people back into existence. Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, that is like a great way to just kind of cut yourself some own slack with your own scissors. It's
Yes.
like, you're creating these things that aren't plausible. It's like, I imagine there's some guy on a porn set where he's getting chastised for coming too quick. He's like, hey, do I wish I could come all day and all night? Yeah. Do I wish I had a never-ending cum dick? Yes. If you can tell me where to buy one, Steve, I'll take out a loan and go get it. But I can't. I'm one man with one dick who can come just a little bit for a short amount of time.
And also Interview Yourself guy would also then push it back to the audience. Where they go, do I wish things could have been different? Yeah. Do I wish I never climbed onto the tractor that morning? Of course I do. Do I wish I had a magic wand and a crystal ball that could have been? Also, you people, we've all made mistakes. None of us are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
None of us are, what's his first name, Gandhi. None of us are Martin Luther King.
Who among us?
Who among us has not made mistake? And I like it, too, because your mistake is running over a retarded kid with a tractor while you're drunk. But you're talking about their mistakes. Like, their mistakes are leaving the garage door open at night, and then going into the house and going to bed or something like that. That's their mistake.
It's a great way to frame that, too. It's like, do I wish I didn't combine Four Loko, Ecstasy, and Zima together? Yes. Did I wish it didn't taste so good together? Of course. Do I wish that retarded kid wasn't wandering around aimlessly in the cornfield? For sure. Do I wish he knew where he was? Yes, but I can't do anything about that. So I got on my tractor drunk, and I drove it because that's what I do. Do I wish I didn't like to drive tractors? Of course. I wish I had other pursuits. Yeah, it's always about what they did. What you're doing.
Can say they've never made a mistake.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you're perfect.
Right. Yeah, but their mistakes.
I mean, that's a great line. What's that from?
Yeah, their mistakes are sort of like not really knowing the metric system very well, not killing people with tractors.
Right.
Do we have Bobby Hollander? I don't know why, but,
yes.
Adam Ray, Adam, I don't know.
Interchangeable.
Yeah, I don't know if you've experienced the majesty of the great porn director, Bobby Hollander, but...
Do I have porn director vibes?
I'm saying I feel like it's a character that you could wrap your mind around.
Adam, your life is about to be. This is
It's
your
going to
fork
be
in the
changed
road.
now.
Yeah, forever.
Just to set the table. First off,
explain to me
before and after this moment.
Is Bobby Hollander, Chris, the movie we ordered? I know the window was 4 to 22 business days.
You'd be surprised they didn't provide a tracking number. So.
What?
Yeah.
Goddamn supply chain.
I know.
Biden, this is bullshit.
It's coming over on a crate.
What day are we in? Are we a day number 13 or something?
Let me check here.
Because,
Bobby watch.
So when I was 18, I had a friend whose dad had a VCR and a VHS tape, and one of them was of Bobby Hollander, who used to narrate the porn. Oh, he would come up and he would set the table.
For the hearing impaired?
And Adam, you'll appreciate this. Bobby Hollander, a.k.a. Ira Sachs, is his real name.
Yes.
Ooh.
And
okay.
But this
nice
is
Jewish boy.
This is Bobby, and Bobby was a guy from the East Coast, came out here to the San Fernando Valley, turned some chicks out, got into directing, had a stable of young gals he would work with. He would but fancied himself a performer as well. So he would get some camera time,
a showman,
and he would set up what was going to happen in the movie. And it's been 10 business days. They quoted us 21. Because it's Bobby Hollander's porn bloopers is the one I'm looking for. But anyway, it's limited. His appearances on the internet are limited. But we did find this, and this is him doing his Alfred Hitchcock impersonation at the beginning and then talking to the camera. So just watch, enjoy in the majesty of Bobby Hollander, and then we'll see if he speaks to you.
Is this the next guy I'm going to play?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. You thought it was Alfred, but it's not. My name is Bobby Hollander. And I'd like to introduce you to a tape called The Personal Touch. Now, The Personal Touch is something different in home entertainment. It's strictly adult, strictly X, and it's hot. It's so hot, it's going to blow your balls off. It's going to want to make you wet your pants. It's going to want to make you reach in and grab it. It's going to want to make you come right on your television screen. The Personal Touch means personal touch. It stars Shauna Grant, Sharon Mitchell, Paul Thomas, Ron Jeremy, Dominique, a newcomer to the screen, Gene Hollow. The Personal Touch was shot on videotape to give you the finest quality in adult entertainment.
Ironic.
It's going to let you, the home viewing audience, get out of your bed, off your couch, out of the bar, and you guys that are watching it in a bar are going to be into the bathroom in a minute, pulling your wang. I don't mean to say it in an obscene way, but we wanted to make it that
I think he does.
Shauna Grant in this film, who stars you've seen in Penthouse, you've seen in Swank, High Society, Chic, Hustler, Velvet. You've jerked off to her in Genesis and Gallery. She's gorgeous. She's young, she's blonde, and she has a body that'll blow you away. She's going to tell you how you can write to her personally and get a free, black and white, personally autographed photo of her just by sending your name and address. It's no hope, it's no joke. And we know the Personal Touch is hot. Ladies, go out. I hope you have new batteries for your vibrator. Husbands, whip 5 on yourself. Do it lubricated. But this tape is designed to make you want to do it. It's directed to you. We hope you blow your nuts off on this tape because it was made that way. And before I blast off my mouth and go any further, let me introduce you to one of the stars in the business, Miss Shauna Grant.
Oh, she's there with him.
Oh, yeah. She give him a kiss. Creepy kiss.
Thanks for the intro. Bobby told you that you can write to me, and I would love it if you wrote to
She
me.
killed
I will
herself
send you a picture.
2 years later.
The address I would like you to send your name and address to is Kincaid, Kincaid, 18653, Ventura Boulevard, Suite 318,
San Fernando Valley.
Tarzana, California, and the zip code is 91356. Not only will I send you a black and white photograph, but I would like to hear your comments on the video. Then maybe we can come back and see you again.
Oh, wow.
Thanks.
And they had so much tape.
Perils of one take.
Yeah.
Shauna's going to make sure that you see this film crispy and crunchy. Loosen your tie. Kick off your shoe.
A lot of white-collar guys watching Bobby Hollander.
Zip the pants. Drop your pantyhose.
Lucy.
Because Shauna's going to clean off your TV screen. She's going to dust it off. So don't get up for a minute. If you have to pee, if you have to eat, shut the tape right now and then put it back on. Because this is a tape you see from beginning to end. And we know a lot of people out there never get to the end. But shit, you'll be watching it once, twice, 3 times. You're gonna love it. It's hot. It's a stroker.
We know.
Now let Shauna dust off your TV screen.
What does that mean?
So you don't miss a thing.
All right, but I've watched this 4 times now.
We watched it.
But
a lot.
I do want to say this. Can I before we get into Bobby Hollander? What that now looked like to me on the 4th attempt is they shot the movie, they edited the movie, and they had 44 minutes worth of movie. And somebody said, we need an hour to make the VHS format. We can't sell it in Asia. If at 40-something, it's not. It needs to be an hour. So Bobby, just give us a little flavor at the top. And there's a guy, and he's like, you're going to blow your nutsack off into a windmill and a putt-putt golf course. And someone's doing, that's right, Bobby. We need 9 more minutes of this.
You're going to come on your TV set?
Let me sing the dreidel song. I had a little dreidel. guys, girls, Jehovah's, you're going to want to reach down, and some guy's going, stretch. 9 more minutes, Bobby.
Loosen your tie.
Grab Shauna. Where's Shauna?
Kick off your shoes.
Wait, can I do my audition to play Bobby Hollander?
Yes, young Bobby.
All right, somebody play the casting. It's one long monologue.
I'll play the
based
casting
on that
director.
scene.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right, Bobby. Thanks for coming in. I mean, a person is trying to play Bobby. Thanks for coming in, young Adam.
Thank you. Hey,
Adam
but
Ray.
I appreciate you. Talking to me in character. That helps my process.
Well, we're doing a whole.
Great.
We're doing. You see, Boogie Nights.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan.
We're doing a whole kind of vibe, Boogie Nights vibe. So
right.
We might have Wahlberg as a producer. I don't know, but anyway, Bobby Hollander was a pretty guy. He was on the scene. People knew who he was. Then we what you did with Leno and McMahon. I mean, we're so impressed. So.
Hey man, it would be an honor. I mean, those guys do not pale in comparison to Bobby Hollander. I feel like I did those guys to get to this, so I don't want to say too much before. But okay, and stick to the script. Or is there freedom to play around a little bit?
You can always have fun with the script, just the beats. And I'll tell you what, I'll count you in 5, 4, 3.
I'm going to enter into frame.
Okay, enter into frame. Yeah, Bobby walks into frame.
Yeah.
Sorry. Good call. Here we go. And action.
Oh, hey. I didn't see you there. How's that hammock treating you? It's comfy, right? Well, you're about to get a whole lot comfier. How's your dick doing? Hard? Put your hand down there for a second. Touch it. Feels good, right? Are your balls still attached? Well, they're about to get blown the fuck off. Personal Touch is a film that's going to make you want to touch everything that comes, including your cock. So look, everyone's born with genitals, right? Pussies, dicks, other stuff. All of it is going to be in this movie that's going to make you want to go, holy shit, am I still coming? It stars Don Cheadle, Amari Stoudemire, Candace Cameron Bure, and Sharon Stone's son. It's a film that everyone's talking about, but everyone's coming to first. There's so much tits and butt. There's dicks and balls. Hey, take off your tie, put your shoes in the hamper, call your friend from high school who you reconnected with on Facebook, and tell them that there's a new movie out for the kids. The kids who can handle the rough stuff. You know what I mean. Butt fucking. There's all sorts of tricks in this film that'll make even the Tricks Rabbit go, are you sure we should be showing this? It's one of those movies that makes everyone who's ever had a naked person in their waterbed go, Jesus Christ. Fuck. So look, get on down to the local supermarket, grab some milk, because you're going to need something to quench your thirst after you've come out of your... I'm sorry. Can I take it again?
You did a lot of good stuff in there. A lot of good stuff. No. First off, Cheadle's not attached, and neither's Candace
Cameron Bure.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Not yet.
We're out to Candace, but I don't... Hold on. Marty, is Candace... Not yet, then.
Not yet. No.
Okay. Well, it's only been 141 days.
Fuck.
All right. Where are we going to stay after that?
We
check out.
We did get Sharon Stone's son.
Where you got?
Yeah.
Oh, we got John Stone.
Yeah, John, he's in.
All right. And how about Cheadle?
All but in.
All but in. Okay. All right. Wow. So anyway, Adam. A lot of good stuff there. Remember Bobby's signature? His. Whoa, or a, or what you talking about, Willis? His is, it'll blow your balls off. Okay?
Right.
So,
okay.
That's his thing.
I'll keep it a little tight this time.
Remember you were in Young Rock, can you smell what the Rock's cooking?
Mm-hmm.
Well, but to Bobby, he's cooking, getting his balls blown off. That's what he does. This will blow your balls off.
Got it. Thank you so much. That's great direction. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You want to enter again?
It's the working title for a reason.
That's right.
Here it comes.
He's entering the scene.
Hey, I'm Bobby Hollander. I know you know. So look, there's a movie that's getting ready to come out that's going to make your dick turn into mashed potatoes. Yeah. The kind you can buy at the store. The kind that makes your balls blow off of your dick and into your mom's stew. And then she goes, where do these balls come from? And you go, sorry, Mom, they blew off my cock because I just saw this personal touch movie that made me want to touch my cock, but I couldn't because my balls blew off.
Hey, Adam, casting director Stevie.
Sorry.
Let me jump in.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Steer away from the mom and the cooking.
Stew.
Yeah, the stew. Anything with the mom.
I just was trying to heighten the idea that
no doubt, but
yeah,
steer away from the mom. You
just felt like expanding the world.
But no, it'll blow your balls off. But then we don't have to say what happened to your balls after they blew off.
Why don't I just do a series of it'll blow your balls off? I feel like
let's just do 3, and maybe just give me a fast one, give me a passion one, give me a somber one. Just give me some choices.
A warning.
Yeah.
I love that because I do, I studied with Stella Adler and Elon Musk, and there's a lot of tricks and emotions that I feel like I have to convey. And Bobby was a complex guy, so I think showing this range of emotion is... Well,
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll shout out the emotion. You give me the blows your balls off, all right?
Great. Thank you so much.
Rolling, Steve. Jubilant.
It's going to blow your balls off.
Morose.
It's going to blow your balls off.
Excited.
It's going to blow your balls off.
Pensive.
It's going to blow your balls off.
Say it as you're talking to a young child. You've just taken a knee.
Sure.
His name is Timmy.
Hey, Timmy. Where's your dad? Aw, so sorry. Well, hey, buddy, the soccer game's not till next week, so you got plenty of time to practice until then. Hey, I don't mean to be forward, but there's this movie that I think you should watch that might get you fired up for the game next Saturday. I know it's a playoff game, so it matters more than regular season. And for anyone who, like me, who's a big sports nut, I watch the Super Bowl every March, and I think this movie's not only going to change your life and inspire you, but it's going to blow your tiny little Timmy balls off.
Wonderment.
I'm sorry. Could you use it in a sentence? I'm sorry. I didn't go to
the crowd. The crowd was full of wonderment as the UFO landed on the softball field.
Gotcha. And is it a co-ed softball league, or is it just all gals?
Usually women play softball, but I guess if it's a park, it could be a co-ed type situation.
Right.
It really don't get mired in the softball.
Least important part of it.
Let me leave softball out of it. The crowd looked on in wonderment as the car sailed off the cliff into the Pacific Ocean. And don't even worry about what kind of car it was. And it didn't have softball players in it. Sorry, go ahead.
So the spaceship landed at the softball field, and then the car, and then
Adam, you're getting up in your head now. You were doing so great. Just you do it with wonderment, amazement.
No, fuck. Give me a second. Hubba bubba, hubba bubba. Meryl Streep stripped at the strip mall. Meryl Streep stripped at the strip mall. Meryl Streep stripped at the strip mall.
Hold on. How's Cameron Bure?
Against Cameron Bure.
The call's out.
Oh, okay.
Call out to our people. We're
Nothing?
waiting. Not yet.
Okay. All right, sorry. We got Sharon Stone's son still in?
He's on. He's signed.
Okay. Cheadle, anything?
Still waiting.
Okay.
Not an official, no.
All right, just clear your head. Here we go.
Wonderment.
Yeah, say too many times it loses meaning. Sorry, guys.
It's gonna blow your balls off.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
That's
think you understand, Matt, about the history of psychology. Sorry.
Yeah. Give me one is, give me a couple's Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, Timmy, what's going on?
Hold on, Mark. Not what? Adam. Adam, not to Timmy. Not to Timmy. Just give me.
Right.
Yeah, just this is Wahlberg.
Hey, what's going on? I saw you were getting ready to watch a movie. Personal touch, yeah. Yeah, well, good. You should be excited because it's gonna blow your freaking balls off. Yeah. Personal touch, Bobby Hollander. Have you heard about him? Of course you have. Your mother's heard about him. Say hi to your mother for me when your balls fall off.
The great Adam Ray. All right, we got all the tape we need, man. I think it's going to end it together nicely.
I'm with ABC Talent, and I'll shave anything for the part. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do you do nudity? We work around smoke. Just stuff. Just the basic stuff.
Great. And I have an any belly button. Is that, I don't know if that's going to matter for the
better.
shoot day.
Fine.
Actually,
Preferable.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and do the news right after this.
Well, as a resident of a small town in Ohio, comedian Dave Chappelle expressed some concerns at a Monday night council meeting over plans to build an affordable housing development. This is in Yellow Springs. Yellow Springs Village Council voted 2-2. One member didn't vote against it, but the 53-acre development will still be built. It just will not include an affordable housing component. The council previously approved the development to include 143 single-family homes starting at $300,000 each. Chappelle, not into it. He currently lives in that area and frequented there and threatened to remove all of his business investments from the area should this affordable housing development be built. Here he is expressing himself at the city council meeting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dave Chappelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I could talk to you about this privately. I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they X out a $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I am not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you.
You know, it's always funny, like the affordable housing. It's always like, these are hardworking, honest mothers and fathers who love their children, who no one wants to live around. That's basically how affordable housing works. Like, we're like, yeah, these are the salt of the earth, hardworking, the folks who mow your lawns, and no one wants to live around them. That whenever they try to build affordable housing is sort of like, we're going to build housing for the homeless. Not in my backyard.
Right.
That's how everyone is with affordable housing.
He plans to build a restaurant, Firehouse Eatery, a comedy club. So he has a lot of investments tied up in the community. And I think, I mean, are we over as a population after, you know, his Chappelle's last comedy special? Are we over liberals treating him like a god? Is that totally over?
I'd say this is the nail in that coffin.
Totally agree. Yeah. It's weird. It's like, this is like you were surprised that we were going to watch that clip, right? Like, we have the footage of him saying, if you build this affordable housing, I will pull all of my stakes out of this town.
Yeah. But I guess it's what you do. So here's kind of the deal with Dave Chappelle. If you work for a big parent company, now, yes, Dave Chappelle's specials are on Netflix and they do very well, and Netflix needs him maybe more than he needs Netflix, one could argue. But also, he can go anywhere on the road and sell out major venues and be a rich person completely independent of the system.
Yes.
You know, so when you hear people who work for ESPN or ABC or Disney, when they give their opinion, it's part of it is their opinion, and the other part is not wanting to fucking get fired.
Right.
or blackballed or thrown out or shit canned or whatever. So we're not so sure if it's their unvarnished opinion because they work for the Disney Corporation. Dave Chappelle is how people talk when they're completely autonomous in the system.
Community.
And they can say whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. And that's why we get that from Dave Chappelle.
No,
He's
I think
not
you're totally
part
right.
of the system.
It's just interesting because, you know, there are comedians that sort of build their brand as like, I'm one of you, I'm a man of the people, like blah, blah, blah. And to say like, I don't want affordable housing near me, I think is just really jarring to a lot of people. I think it is.
I think what people did with Chappelle is, I don't know that Chappelle ever had a message of unity and a progressive message. It was like, that guy's super funny. Mm-hmm. He's black and he's cool.
He smokes on stage.
And I'm a fucking ass kisser. So he's the cool guy. Yeah. And I'm going to go, Chappelle, because I'm attracted to popular, cool guys. I don't know if anyone ever read the transcript. And now we're starting to kind of read the transcript.
So what you're saying is he hasn't changed. We're just getting a bigger picture of someone who could say whatever the fuck they want.
He might be.
Maybe he has changed.
Moving a direction.
I don't know. Yeah. You know, I went out there for his. I went out there for the when he did his the whole summer camp. I went out there and did a weekend and yeah, he is a god in that community, in that town, but also he kind of is left alone and kind of, contributes and, provides extra ammo to what the town, how it runs, but I think kind of keeps to himself and is treated normally, which is, I think, why he digs it out there. So it sounds like he feels like he has done so much for that area, especially during the pandemic, probably keeping things moving and helping businesses flourish, that he should have more say in what I guess is now done to it, and feels so much, pride and control and investment in what's happening, I guess, but maybe just likes the way things are done. But look, I went out there with somebody that knew him more than I did. I'd met him a few times at the store. Every time we were hanging out in small circles, he would, come up and chum me up about all sorts of things. And I got the Young Rock job when I was out there, and his tour manager, was my buddy, told him, and he came up and gave me a big hug and was so nice about it. Very attentive, sweet guy. So, that's pretty odd to see that footage and hear the stance, but I think there is, and who knows, maybe it's one of those things too where he's taken with all the unfortunate press from the special, maybe that does something to you too, as far as the way that you view.
Maybe you lean into it. Maybe it's like, everyone hates me. Fuck it.
Yeah, you're going to make me the villain, then what the fuck? Why should I help you? Why am I supposed to just be obligated to do these things?
That's the relationship I have with my kids. Here would be my deal if I was in charge of the low cost housing. I'd be like, look, we're going to build a low cost housing. It's going to be 80 units, going to be 7 stories. Everyone's going to get 900 square feet, and you get a balcony. If I start seeing a bunch of shit on that fucking balcony, if I see super depressing kids' toys and beach towels and ponchos hanging over the top and a fucking dead ficus plant, I will come in there and I'll throw your fucking poor ass right out of here. You depress everyone who passes you when you pile, the poor person pile
storage
all the
closet.
shit out onto the fucking balcony.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, the tableau of the kids' toys, the little
Dirty.
My Little Pony plastic trike, and there's some girl being sexually abused inside that unit. It depresses the shit out of me. So keep your fucking balcony straight. We know.
That's fair.
We get it. It's a low-cost housing unit, but you don't need to advertise to the world that you're a disorganized mess. Keep that fucking balcony clean, or I'll toss your poor asses right out.
I think that's fair.
That's a fair
good
statement,
compromise.
right? Yeah.
Well, let's talk about another parent company doing the opposite. Dollywood.
Was I telling you guys? I don't know why, but I was walking about 6 months ago, did a show in Catalina. And I was walking up and down the hills, and I went all over Catalina. Catalina's nice. And I passed two what I thought were apartment buildings. And they're like, kind of bad 80s, beige stucco apartment buildings. And one of them, as I was walking back and forth and passing up and down the hill, one of them had all the junk out on the balcony. And the other one, the balcony had wind chimes and gardens, and it was really nice. And I was like, I'm always looking for patterns, I'm like, what's the difference between, and then someone's like, oh, those are condos. People own those. And then those are renters. And it's like, oh yeah, that's how you rent. That's how you treat it when you rent. And that's how you treat it when you own.
Yeah. It's snapping into focus.
When I rented my place, my last place, we had this Polish landlord named Roxana, and we had a little pool in the middle of our complex, Melrose Place style. And I bought these cheap ass Target floaty pool toys because my buddies from Seattle with 4 kids apiece were coming down to visit, and I had them sitting on my little shit balcony thing where the air conditioner was, and there was a bullshit plant to hopefully dilute some of the floaty toy mess. And she comes out and she's like, you can't have pool floaty toys. I don't do accents. She goes, you can't do toys, floaties on your balcony. And I go, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to put them in the pool as soon as my buddies get here. Okay, fine, but please take them. So cut to us in the pool on the floaty toys. She comes out and goes, you can't be on the pool floaty toys. There's no lifeguard on duty. I go, I know, I saw the sign, Roxana, next to the no diarrhea sign, which, by the way, isn't that assumed in 2020? And then she goes, you can't be on pool floaty toys. There's no lifeguard. I go, Roxana, if I drown from a Target floaty pool chair, that's how I was supposed to go. Let's just agree to disagree. That's my story. So I put him back on the balcony, and she has the owner of the building call me and say, hey, I heard you're giving Roxanne a difficult time about your pool floaty toys being on your little balcony. Take those down, or I'm going to have to come down, and we're going to have to get some lawyers involved. And I go, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, I'm not. Also, I heard you smoke weed in your place. We'll talk about that on a different day. And I was like, and then dun, 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 and then the start of Home Improvement started. But my point is that balcony, even in a place like that where, a decent Hollywood apartment, I was like, wow, they are even harping down on this. Like, it's affecting no one except probably people were complaining, being like, you're taking the overall look of our place down by having your bullshit toys outside on the balcony.
Well, and if there's no lifeguard on duty, by all means, bring out more things that you could throw to someone if they're drowning, like a floaty toy.
Yeah. And my argument was, we were doing the podcast there, and I go, you get a dwarf walking into this apartment complex 3 times a week, bringing joy to everyone in this building. If that's free of charge. So I think I should just on that alone get to have a fucking toy in the pool.
I don't feel like I alter my swimming activity based on the lifeguard or not. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like, oh, there's a lifeguard on duty. I'm brimming with confidence. I'm going to do a couple of these nitrous whippets, and then I'm going to put rocks in my underpants and sit Indian style on the deep end. Like, I'm pretty much the same dude, supervision or not. You know what I mean?
That sign changes no one.
Yeah. Although I do, I have a membership in a beach club, and the beach club has sometimes a lifeguard on duty and sometimes not a lifeguard on duty. And I realized one of the Mason-Dixon lines to being old is showing up and going, good, when you're young, you go, good, the lifeguard's not here. Mm-hmm. We can do a ton of shit. And when you're old, you go, where's the lifeguard? I don't feel good about going into that ocean without some supervision. It's like, I was like, where's the lifeguard? And I realized, oh, fuck, you're old. And then the second part of being old is wearing the shirt into the water.
Are you doing that?
That's number 2. Well, I've been sea kayaking.
I know.
I've been going on a long.
So are you saying we need to get you a rash guard for your birthday so you're not just in an old man's shirt?
I just wear like whatever long sleeve one piecer I got.
Oh,
but
boy.
yeah.
Okay.
Real quick follow-up question. Who gets more ass? The young male lifeguard, the 17-year-old kid, does he hook up with more moms and MILFs, or the charismatic, swagger-filled 15, 16-year-old that is hooking up with the teacher?
Lifeguard. I mean, maybe I watched too many movies, but
who gets more credit?
More ass.
Or more ass? I don't know. I'm going lifeguard, but that's just me.
Again, we've seen a lot of movies.
One more, Gina.
All right, well, this is just good to know if you live in one of these areas. Dollywood's parent company is picking up the entire education tab for all of its employees beginning basically now.
Could you imagine Dolly Parton going to that homeowners association city council meeting and announcing she didn't want the poor people living next to her because she was going to open a brew tap place and a comedy club?
No.
I don't know. Do you do a Dolly Parton?
I have so much reverence for her, I don't even bother. But hi, I'm Dolly Parton.
All right, Dolly, you have 90 seconds.
Now, I got to tell you, I'm going to change you from a rooster to a hen in one shot if you don't stop this affordable housing. Look at me. I'm gorgeous.
Well, there's poor people. They need a roof over their head.
Oh, do they need help? They can sew more beads onto my dress.
Well, okay. But please don't divest from our city just because we're letting people that are down on their luck.
This is detracting from the Dixieland Stampede, which is still open, by the way, even though y'all don't like the name.
Hi, Chad, could you speak to Hi, my name's Chad. I'm a veteran. Maybe you don't know my story.
Are you my boyfriend, Kenny Rogers?
No, I was strung out on fentanyl for 11 years. I have a son. I buried my wife 3 years ago. Right now I'm in between jobs, and I just need a place to stay right now while sober, and I am deeply devout. So, Dolly, you putting the kibosh on our affordable housing is really impacting me and my son Zachary's life.
Well, I am awful sorry to hear that, and I would like to offer you this for free. If I should stay, I would only be in your way.
86 seconds.
And I will always
I know, that's our time.
love you. Oh, well, you all have yourself a Dolly day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't do Dolly.
You do Dolly.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, she is still St. Dolly. Hershend Enterprises, that's the operating partner of Dollywood and the nation's largest privately owned themed attractions all over the country. So this week, the company announced it will cover 100% of the employees' tuition, fees, books, everything for employees who want to further their education. This is 25 theme parks around the country.
Chappelle says he wants those books taken away.
He does. You don't have
only partial scholarships.
Full-time, part-time, doesn't matter. If you're 14 years old or up, they will pay for it under one of their programs.
Chappelle says you can get a free ride to one of the colleges, but in your backpack, he has to place a cinder block.
And you have to have a Team Turf bumper sticker.
That's right.
That's right. All right. You want to close it on down?
Yeah, she's the greatest.
She really is. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
How's your dick doing? Hard?
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
I knew you'd hit Bobby Hollander out of the park. And countdown.
I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
I want to play him now. I'm not even joking. If it's either me or Adrian Brody, and I'm willing to fight that guy for the part.
Yeah, no, he's a little long in the tooth for young Bobby Hollander. And now the countdown, the 11 working days until Bobby Hollander's best porn blooper reel shows up, because now we're going to see another side of Bobby, the comedic side of Bobby,
the loosened tie Bobby.
That's right.
Please let me come back for just that.
We will tell you as soon as it arrives in the mail. First, let me tell you about Geico. Do you own, do you rent your home? Well, sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work, too. Well, you know it's easy? Bundling your policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your automotive policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your house. So go to geico.com, get a quote, see just how much you could save and how easy it is to save when you get your bundle happening at Geico. That is at geico.com. Pam and Tommy, obviously, on Hulu, and Young Rock Season 2 premieres March 15th. Live dates all over the place. Adam Ray Comedy.com and Natalie Coughlin, and you can check her out at NatalieCoughlin.com. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Natalie and Gina and Bald and Adam saying mahalo.
So I think his weapon of choice, if he were like a Mortal Kombat character and it was like stepdad versus stepson, it'd be fucking books to the face.
It'd be a
like
tome.
5 at a time. And he'd be like throwing them out. You know, if you were playing him in the game, like you definitely would be able to shovel those things out like fireballs from Super Mario, like real quick. And then probably they'd be able to take your head off.
How is
now? Look, I digress, but